Today, I'm going to talk about a few things and some of the things that I have read up and otherwise would like to speculate about. One of them being a civilization and a racial matter. When we look at Western civilization and what it is, and we look at every other civilization across the entire world, it's very unique to say what the world has become in a sense. That the only most advanced people on the face of this world are that of white people, in a sense. European descent, the ethnic European. See, for every time that there's a huge advancement within the world, technologically or otherwise, it's the ethnic European that contributed to that huge advancement. See, no other race across the world has made such advancements than that of the ethnic European in a sense. And this is something that I find rather interesting because I read this in a small article, that the Asians and the Japanese and the Koreans, being as smart as they are, and here's what's going to really not make a lot of sense to a lot of people who don't understand these things, but let's just simply speculate here. What makes it really interesting for this matter is that the Asians and the Japanese and the Koreans, they're told that they're just as smart as ethnic European, okay? Then why is it that they have not made any advancements in over the course of nearly 1,000 years? And what am I trying to say here? I'm saying is that they tend to make technological advancements, yes, but they're improving existing technologies and science and methods and etc. They're just simply improving the advancements. But why is it that the white man, or the ethnic European for that matter, creates the advancements, and the Japanese, the Koreans, and the Chinese are simply improving it? See, that's an interesting subject that no one wants to bring up. And why is it that every time a European civilization comes into existence, that with it great advancements, but inevitably it disintegrates and decays over time? See, this is the interesting thing right here, and this is what I'm going to get at. The reason why the Chinese, the Japanese, or the Koreans for that matter, and their culture and their civilization hasn't eroded or degraded or completely fell apart, is because they never had any advancements, technologically speaking, or any other way, or science. Okay? See, they don't have any technological advancements within their culture or their civilization for that matter, and it makes you speculate. Why? Why is it that it takes so long for them to create ingenuity and scientific advancements and technological progress? And why is it that it takes them so long for them to integrate that into their culture, their social structures, etc., without it crumbling? But yet, if the ethnic European, for that matter, were to make such groundbreaking achievements, we nonetheless face a civilization decline. See, this is not something rather unique, but it is a very, very interesting subject in a sense, because it is unique to only us. Because every time there's a great advancement within, say, the West, Europe, etc., by any ethnic European culture, within a given few decades or centuries, that culture falls apart and the people fall into social decay. And yet the Chinese have managed to invent some of the things like gunpowder or cannons, but after that, the speed on which their technological advancements has significantly slowed down to the point to where they're no longer advancing. But with the West and the rise of the ethnic European dominance in the world, technologically, militarily, and economically, socially, and politically, of course, we gave them this existing technologies that we invented, our ancestors did. And now they're making groundbreaking achievements, but they're not inventing. They're just simply improving existing technology, science, and methods to which those sciences are applied. So are the Japanese. They're not creating new technologies. They're improving technology, is what I'm getting at here. They're simply making improvements. They're not advancing. And that's a really interesting thing. And here's the reason why. It's because if they were to have groundbreaking advancements and create something out of thin air, like what the European ethnicity has done, okay, then their culture, their civilization would have fallen into decay. See, the more advanced and the more groundbreaking that a civilization becomes, in a sense of advancement to such a lengthy, short time degree, inevitably a civilization does inevitably fall apart. And that this seems to be an ever common occurrence within, well, the ethnic European and its culture and social structures and its civilization for that matter. And that European culture seems to disintegrate with our capability to create such advancement and technological progress. But yet the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Koreans can't. In fact, they have to integrate rather slowly into their culture and social structures that keep them from disintegrating at an alarming rate. But yet, when the Europeans have such advancements and progress, well, it tends to cause rapid disintegration of our culture and our social structures and our entire civilization for that matter. And this could be a factor in why the Chinese, the Japanese, or the Koreans could not make such advancements like the ethnic European, and why it would fracture their civilization. But on the other hand, maybe it's genetic too. Maybe they aren't as intelligent or advanced as ethnic Europeans as we would like to think. Rather, they're only mirroring our own success. See, we're the ones that created a great deal of what the world sees. Us and Ashkenazi Jews, unfortunately. But yeah, they nonetheless have the European ethnicity in them, and they have created other technologies as well. So I guess you can pretty much state that there are two advanced ethnic groups of people: Ashkenazi Jews and ethnic European, for that matter. But back to the subject is the fact that isn't the Asians, the Japanese, or the Koreans just as smart as the ethnic Europeans? Well, then ask yourself this. After they created the groundbreaking technology that we now use in warfare, cannons, gunpowder, and all that, why is it that their advancements, technologically, otherwise, has slowed to a grinding halt? And why is it that with the coming and rise of the Western world and the expanding of the ethnic European and the technological progress that came with it, why did it take until the 20th century, for that matter, for them to even, well, become technologically productive and, well, advance their own progress, technologically speaking, with science, technology, and all these other things that we invented, our ancestors did, for over the course of a few hundred years. And that we had that knowledge for over the course of a few hundred years, and they never managed to even replicate it, invent it. Heck, they still were using bows and spears until the coming of the gunpowder age, around the 18th century. And even then, we had advanced weapons, repeating shooting rifles, while they used muskets and single-loaded guns. And the Japanese had those same things until the late 1800s. Why is it that they can only replicate something and only improve it when, well, the existing knowledge is there, but they can't seem to invent something of their own and only take our ideas and manage to improve them, but never can create something of that of their own? Interesting subject. And why is it that it takes so long for them to integrate into their culture and their people and their social structures, but yet it's like their customs, culture, and civilization just stays frozen in time, in a sense, and hasn't desecrated or decayed, unlike the ethnic European? And why is it that every time we have a serious advancement, it's a very staggering cost to our overall civilizations, social structures, and culture for that matter. And who knows? I'm probably just speculating, but it is an interesting subject. And, well, I don't want to speculate too much anymore because it's already been past 10 minutes, but I thought it would be an interesting subject to bring this up. I'll let you guys think this out. Well, I just simply brought the subject.